or device, they're not going to learn well. And particularly the old-fashioned has already been rejected. And therefore, it is very important for the teachers to catch up. And so to learn the technology in the classroom and all the so I need to stay with my old-fashioned teaching. But listen, and I must first admit that I'm the old-fashioned and the very, very difficult learner, slow learner. But even myself, we think that this is important so that we can improve a lot. And the whole concept for this program is to enhance faculty's professional development. So this is going to help you to enhance and enrich of your teaching and give you more tools in order to have a better learning and progress of your classroom. Now, the schedule for today, 9 a.m. is registration and fellowship, and then 9:10 icebreaker. We already passed, sorry. But when I came in, there's still a lot of riddles and things like that. So next time, don't miss icebreaker, okay? Come earlier. And 9:30 is welcome and introduction, and this is the part that we are entering in now. I don't want to spend too much time because today we have two very important sessions. And hopefully, you can learn a lot. I mean, Dr. Madasu is going to take over 2 hours at least, so you can learn and then how to get involved into those tools, and we can improve. Now, 9:50, maybe earlier, technology in classroom tools and best practice. That's part one, because there's a lot of information involved. And so we divide into 2 parts. Now, you do have a break, so we don't want you to just fall into sleep. And this is important, the lesson to learn. And then we're going to have some games. Rapture will make you alive and awake. Then we're going to have a second part. So that will be continue the teaching and the learning in this time. Now, around 11:50, maybe a little bit later, but around that time, we're going to give you gifts. The gifts is actually very nice. I want to keep a little bit confidential than you're going to discover, and I hope you love it. Then conclusion. And then we're going to have lunch. And then we pretty much closing in around 1:30, 2 p.m. Okay? So that's all the schedule. Now I want to give you some guideline about what you're going to learn. There's 10 different important outlines here. Dr. Madas provide that. So I want to share with you so you have something in your mind. What are you going to learn? So first of all, you need to learn importance of technology in modern education. This is very important for all of us. You need to understand that you need to continue to improve, and don't just give yourself an excuse to think that I'm old dog, so I cannot learn a new trick. That's not supposed to be in our Christian education camp. We need to keep on learning so that we will be able to catch up the train. So again, grateful for Dr. Malasu to be involved to help us. And then number two, the benefit and challenge of using technology in classroom setting. Again, a lot of time that we use the old way, so we are very familiar with the old way. However, you have to realize as a teacher, if there's a better way to teach your students, then you better learn it, because the teacher is actually the most aggressive learner of all the education system. Now, if you are a teacher and keep on sitting there and don't want to improve, then you need to re-examine your calling. So this is a very serious problem, okay? So yes, there's a challenge if you have the new device. And other new, the young people maybe can just trigger and learn the device with 2 minutes. You probably need to spend 20 minutes. But yet, again, still we need to spend the time and hiding ourselves in the cave and trying to learn it and come out and to show our students we know how to do that also, okay? So make sure to catch up. Then we mentioned about very important the learning the trend of AI. AI is artificial intelligence device. And those kind of system is everywhere now. They are promoting AI, and then you can download in your cell phone, a computer, and the kids now knows how to do it. And so you, as a teacher, educators, you need to learn that as soon as possible. Now, there's a lot of benefits, but yet there's also dangers. In particular, the dangers of sometimes we lost control, and then the robot or AI control human being. Well, those dangers still may be there, but we need to know how to use properly in order to help our people, students, to learn well. Learning management system, LMS. Now this is a very important. So Dr. Madasu is going to share with us now quickly advantage and disadvantage of textbook and e-books. We still use a lot of textbook. Okay, now for educator, you're involved into the education for 10, 20 years. Textbook is really a very important part of your teaching. But nowadays, you have to realize there's a lot of e-books. And for those public school system, they have a load of money. And they use e-books all the time. And all the text, all the curriculum actually in the iPad. And so when you have an iPad, then the teacher just asks everybody to turn on iPad, and then showing on the screen, everybody actually have their iPad the same page. And so there's a definitely benefit if we use e-books in the future. But this is definitely something that you and I need to learn. Then creating a technology-enhanced curriculum. This is again. Now you need to also learn how to do that, because most of the teachers just you have the whiteboard, then you think that's forever. But nowadays there's all kinds of a device and advanced technology that you can actually use easier than the whiteboard. And whiteboard is actually sometimes there's no action, but with the new technology that you have all kinds of action. Now, last couple of times we have Ryan used GIF to teach the vocabularies. That is part of the concept here, and that you can use all kinds of video and video or even the audio to help the students to learn. So that's something technology enhanced curriculums. Preparing and enforce digital literacy. And again, if you only use the whiteboard, then you're going to gradually feeling that the students is much more than you. So sometimes they have all those movie, video, and audio and on their device, and they can learn much more than just reading. And so how can we use digital literacy? I mean, nowadays there's nowadays they have this textbook that you can ask your students to follow the voice. I mean, there's a sound books, textbook, and you can actually use. And so the teacher actually do not need to read the text. The digital curriculum, so digital device will be able to read for you. So for those ESL teachers, you'll be happy because they have perfect English, and so you don't have to worry that they're reading wrong. But those are the events that you're going to have. And then enhance collaboration and communication. And again, I mean, if you have a digital device, then a lot of communication will be done. Otherwise, you have to send the paper back to the parents, and parents will return back next time. But now you have device, and communication is so fast. Send it now, few seconds later, they will reply. I mean, students learning and communication with the parents and all this are going to be very useful in our education system. Future trends in educational technology. Now that is important also. How the future is going to continue, then we need to be prepared. Now, I think the old-fashioned is not wrong, it's not sinful. But to catch up, and so that we can help our students, because they are in different generation than us. And one of my friends said that in our generation is the first generation that our children knows more device than us. And this is also the first generation in the history that the younger kids are going to teach the older generation how to operate certain digital device. Well, that's true, because this is a trend. So older generation also need to know, how can I learn more in order to bring my students and children to learn better. And so that means and after prayer, then we ask Dr. Madasu to come and to teach us. So, Dr. Madasu, please come. I will give you this one. And then I am going to be gone, and then when you connect, I can pray. Okay. So let's pray together, and then we'll start our new learning. And holding your seed, we may fly very fast, like a roadster, okay? Roadster. Okay, let's pray. Father, we are so grateful for this time, and thank Thee, Father, for giving us this opportunity to learn. And so far, Lord, we are so grateful. With all the previous topics, we continue to grow little by little, And now we come to this technologies, and definitely we depends on thy mercy and grace, and give us a wisdom so that we can learn together. Help us, Father, to be a strong team and to work together, to serve together, so that thy name will be honored. Continue to grow, and so that they can learn much and learn more. Thank you for this time. Be with Dr. Madasu as he teaches, and help us, Father, to be able to learn much through this training day. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, Dr. Madasu, give him a hand, please. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you need to have this first.
All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Professional Development Session on Technology in Classroom. Thank the Lord for this opportunity, and also Dr. Wei for giving the opportunity to present this. We're going to look briefly at the 10 outlines that we saw just on the screen here, because going into depth of each one is going to take a lot of time, especially when we get into the artificial intelligence. There's its own it's supposed to be its own set of teaching on that, so it's going to take a lot of time. So what we will do here is, in the first part, we're going to do the theory section. In the second part, we're going to do the practicals, meaning I would ask you to turn your computers on, and if you already downloaded the Teams app, that's good. If you haven't, please download the Teams app. You'll have to register for the account as well, and once that is happened, then we can get into some practicals, and I can show you how we can use the Microsoft Suite, Microsoft products for education, and also basically enhance the understanding of the students as well in classroom settings. So we have many tools that are available today. We can use lots of tools, but the focus of this is going to be on the Microsoft tools, and within that as well, I'm going to cover just very few of them, because they have a whole section of apps that can be used in classroom setting, but we only use, at least I've only tested few of them, and I'll go through some of those few. And as Dr. Wei mentioned, some of us probably are old school. I'm definitely old school. Give me a printing press, I'll be happy. I like to print. I'm old school, but still we have to go with the flow. So today we're looking at the technology in classroom as part one. Part two is going to be later after the break. So in today's rapidly evolving world, technology has become an integral part of our daily lives. If you notice how we interact with things, and even with people and friends and so forth, we use gadgets or devices to communicate, because that is the advantage of having technology in our hands. So we can use them in order to communicate well. We can use them for other learning purposes as well, but we can also use them in other not unhealthy purposes. But technology has become a part of our daily lives, influencing every sector, including education. The integration of technology in the classroom is not merely a trend, but a necessity that has become a necessity these days, that enhances the learning experience, bridges the gap between traditional and modern educational practices and systems. What would be one of the traditional educational system? Basically, teacher teaching the student one-to-one, right? One-to-one teaching, and obviously in person. That was the traditional. But we have to merge the traditional and also the modern system in the education, so it will enhance the learning abilities of the student. So it is not simply that the technology is not simply a trend, but it is necessary that enhances learning experiences, bridges the gap between traditional and modern education, and prepares students for a future in a tech-driven society. How many of you agree that we are living in a tech-driven society? Everywhere we look, it's technology, 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 right? I mean, still, I would say, without the olden face-to-face, one-to-one teaching setting, I mean, there's no foundation. That is the foundation. And I think this technology is also built upon that foundation. But it is to be used rightly in the classroom setting. So we'll get into some of those details in just a little bit. So the classroom environment has transformed significantly with the advent of digital tools. We have so many tools available at our disposal to use for the transformation of a classroom setting. Such as, for example, interactive whiteboards. We have what they call smart boards now, and also some sort of LED screens where you can just touch things and things will happen. You can present the PowerPoint directly on the screen. You can annotate, you can draw, you can explain. There's so many tools that came out for enhancing the education system. So the interactive whiteboards, learning management systems, as one of the outlines we looked at, is called LMS. And educational apps, there's so many apps that some schools use in order to help their students learn the subject. So of course we may not get into the details of what are those apps, but there are apps such as Quizlet and also Microsoft apps which would motivate the student. I mean, it is designed, of course, by the technology and artificial intelligence to motivate the mind of a person to study, to actually be interested. So they're going to use not only the audible teaching, but also interactive teaching where students can interact with apps for such as pictures or videos or clip arts and so forth, and do certain activities. So that's going to raise their curiosity when they see such things such as apps that has some pictures and so forth, and they would like to maybe investigate that and try to use that and try to learn as much as opposed to just regular traditional teaching. So we have a lot of these apps available that would be helping students to learn, and also the technology facilitates a more engaging, personalized and accessible education catering to diverse learning styles and needs. Of course, based on how we use the technology, it can help student learn what he is supposed to be learning. So we can use the technology in such a way, especially as we will look into the second part of Teams and OneNote and also other Microsoft apps. It's going to be so very useful and helpful to really draw the student into learning the subject. And so with that also comes some sort of problem. So with the adoption of technology in education is not without its challenges. Issues such as digital divide, potential distractions, and need for comprehensive teacher training must be addressed as well to harness the full potential of educational technologies. Of course, any one of these systems, for example, you see the technology on the screen, those might really encourage us. We might just look at those things and say, wow, these are really, really helpful. But on the other side, there's also so much danger with this technology if not rightly used. So this presentation, again, the purpose of this is to explore some tools, the best tools, because of course there are many more best tools, but I've only experienced some of these. The best tools and practices for integrating technology into the classroom, highlighting their benefits, addressing challenges, providing insights into future trends that will shape educational landscape. Now, for last 2 semesters at least, I've been using several apps for the MAT program in order to see how they work and how they function, how students adopt to these technological apps and so forth. And it is so far going so well because the apps not only are just there to be used, but they're also trying to engage the students, whether in reading or doing assignments or any other thing that is a professor assigned. So it's really, really going well. And there's also another tool later on which I will talk a little bit about. It's called Immersive Reading app that is within the Microsoft tools. So that reading app would draw the student to actually read. In fact, if you want students to learn how to read better, how to comprehend, how to understand, you can use that immersive resource or immersive learning tool to train a student in such a way. Of course, what is that going to do? Student is going to learn on his or her own, and professor will be checking that later on. And also we will get into some of the analytics where by using the tools would show you the insights. The tools would show the mood of the student to some extent. How does that work? I don't know, we have to ask AI. So it'll explain the mood of a student, how he was doing in the classroom and so forth. So there's so many other small apps within these massive apps that would help us understand how students are doing, and then we can, based on that, we can change or adopt or develop a new curriculum in the class. So, importance of technology in the modern education, how it changes the way that we communicate and interact. Technology in the classroom enhances learning experiences. As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, it enhances learning experiences, bridges traditional and modern educational practices. It doesn't remove the traditional practices because, again, without the traditional teaching practice, there cannot be modern practice. If you think about artificial intelligence, which I'll just maybe wait until the last slide that I put out here, even that need to be trained. That need to be coded into, and who's doing the coding for all this artificial intelligence and machine learning? It is not supernatural event, but in some sense it is supernatural event because it is the mind of a human being that is creating this. All of that. It takes into all the data that is made available on internet, and it categorizes, and then it also would do within itself what is called data analysis. And so it puts everything, and when we type and when we search, for example, you go to Google, you search some line, you'll see lots of notes in a matter of seconds. All that is being compiled from online within that speed, in that speed of amount of search. So this learning experience, that is, the technology will enhance learning experiences. It would bridge that traditional into modern education. It would not remove it because we need the traditional. In fact, I would say if there is no involvement of a professor in a student's life or of a teacher in a student's life, personally, that student is not going to learn a whole lot. I don't know about you, but myself, if you give me a tool and say, read it and learn it, I'll say, okay, but I won't learn a whole lot from it. Because I learn by watching, by observing. So everybody learns in a different way. So I'm a visual learner, so I have to see what's going on. I have to learn from a professor directly. That's why sometimes even online classes are just so very difficult to focus. But my point is, we will not remove the traditional style of education teaching, but we will add technology just to it. The technology in the classroom also prepares students for a tech-driven world, as was mentioned. So technology plays a pivotal role in modern education by enhancing the accessibility, efficiency, and effectiveness of teaching. We can use it if we know how to use certain technological apps and so forth, in a way that would not only help us or you as a professor and a teacher, but also helps the student. Overall, it'll also help the college or school or university itself. So technology plays a pivotal, important role in modern education. It provides students and educators with a wide array of tools and resources that facilitates the learning process, such as interactive simulations, online resources, and educational software. Now, when we get to the LMS, we will talk a little bit about LMS, but there are so many educational softwares that we could use for learning experiences. But then, of course, every one of them must be observed carefully, and they must be processed, meaning we have to be very careful what type of apps we are using. Because we're living in a generation that has really rotten to some extent, and I don't have to go into details. So we have to be careful how the students are being fed with these tools, right? We have all kinds of, we have a phone, for example. This can be used for good or for bad. So we have any other tool we can use for good or for bad. So there's still a monitoring needed. And who is the monitor that is needed for the enhancing experience of the student? It is the teacher. Teacher is the monitor. I'm not talking about the monitor as a screen, but the one who monitors and mentors. Without a mentor, there wouldn't be any whole lot of use with these technological apps. So technology plays an important role. Of course, it also provides students, educators with a wide array of tools and resources which can be used in the classroom setting. Technology also enables personalized learning, allows students to learn at their own pace again, but there is a need for monitoring and for observing the interaction and the growth of the student. It bridges geographical barriers. For example, we live in one place and we can teach to students in another place. For example, we have 30 plus students online, or some of them are on campus, but most of them, I would say 90% of them are online. And we use these tools to interact with them. So we use some of the Microsoft tools to interact with the students. So it goes really well. It works really well. Everything is also what we call, in our present terms, automated. You heard the term automated? You can automate tasks. In other words, teacher doesn't have to stress out and just, lose hair like this by grading and by doing all kinds of stuff. We can do all by automation. I mean, if it depends on how you do, for example, exams and quizzes, but everything can be automated, and all you would see at the end of it is a grade. You can even assign, you can even take the Eucon grade scale and put it in the apps, for example, where the apps will compare the score of a student to the grade scale, and all you would get out is a grade point or grade alphabetical number. So which is going to be helpful then, by same within the same apps, for example, you can also convert that into an Excel document, send it to the registrar, your job is done, at least for the class. You don't have to sit down and just, still I'm a paper pen guy, but you don't have to sit down and just jot down every single thing. All of that can be automated very easily. In fact, these days we even have an automated script written by AI into Microsoft Word and Excel and other parts of things, where you don't have to write your formulas in Excel or try to figure out how can I do this and so and so and so. You just tell the AI, I want you to create this solution, this problem for this, the solution for this problem. It'll write the code for you. And all that is automated. So it's helpful if you can use it in such a way where we can assign things. In fact, within the Microsoft Suite, there is an app called Power Automate, where you just tell the thing how you want to create this app or how you want the workflow to be done. It'll do it for you. And that is all. You set it once and forget it. It's almost like making passive income. Right? You set some business running along, it's going to be running on and on and on. You don't have to deal with it, but you see the revenue coming in, passive income. So for example, if you have a store on Amazon, you sell things, Amazon books or whatever, passive income. You don't have to sit there every single day and click and change and do all kinds of stuff. No, you have ways how you can make passive income. And so this is also like that. The automation is like you set it, let it run, it'll take care of it. We can do all kinds of things, and we will get that later on second part as well in the Microsoft and Outlook calendar, how you can use calendar appropriately, rightly, so you can use all of the wonderful things they provide. So there's so many things that we can do with the technology here in the classroom. So important point I was touching base earlier was it connects the geographical locations, because we can have people anywhere. We can reach out to them, of course, at the same time or different times based on the time zone. It also offers opportunity for remote learning, which is what most schools are getting towards, remote learning, and also global collaboration with these apps. Microsoft apps, or with some of the other apps that I'll touch base later on. You can do collaboration no matter where your students are. In fact, you can assign an assignment to every single student, create breakout rooms for them, and have them do assignments individually or as group-wise, and have them turn in assignments certain time. And you can see every single thing right there on your screen. It's so very, very useful. And I'm able to say this because I did all the practicals. Ask my wife how much I sit in front of a computer. She tells me I need to go for a walk. I said, I'm walking in here. Hold on. But I tried these apps because, of course, I want to learn what these apps can do. At the same time, be able to help others how the apps can be used. Benefits and challenges of using technology. Benefits: increased engagement, of course. When you have more of these tools at hand, you can assign the tools to students, and they can either download if they have a computer or an iPad. Of course, most of the students would be carrying iPads. So you can teach them a lot. They just need to download, and you can also, if you're using school internet, for example, that school internet can be guarded, can be protected, can be assigned, not to go into certain sites, and it can be protected in all kinds of ways. So kids, as long as they're on campus, they're safe because they don't go into other unnecessary web links or anything to creep in, because we can use, with this Microsoft, there's Microsoft Defender. It won't let none of these things come in at all, because it keeps monitoring 24/7 all the time. For example, if a student is sharing multiple times of a same link, for example, let's say you gave a video to a student and you don't want your student to share that video to anybody else. If Microsoft detects that this link is going out more than 4 or 5 times, it's going to send you an email to cut it off, because there's something going on. And then you can communicate with the student and say, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? Because you would know exactly who's doing that, when, what time, location, IP address, everything. So we can do it a lot secure. And in fact, there is another technology that's called LOT, learning off of internet, or learning off of internet, I believe that's what it's called. That actually protects the school environment, students, and also does a lot of things for school, in fact, for every student. So they are under the umbrella of a big protection. So it's surveillance and all kinds of things. It will do a lot of things. So with these benefits of that is obviously increased engagement. We can have students engage in doing a lot of wonderful stuff, good stuff, and how they learn. Also, it can be geared into personal learning. For example, we will get to that books of e-books and regular books later on. But in fact, you can assign a certain amount of reading to each student. You can have them record what they are reading live, and you can observe how they are reading. And Microsoft would compare that to the pronunciation and so forth. It will give them hints as well to learn and to pronounce correctly. It's going to do a lot of things. So there's going to be apps that you can use to a student, so that they would provide the personalized learning. And of course, better accessibility. Everything needs internet, by the way, but better accessibility. So with these tools, you can reach out to students no matter where they are. Challenges, there's going to be a digital divide. Of course, some of them may have tools at hand. Some of them may not be able to afford these things to purchase or to have. But that is one of the challenges, and also potential distractions. Right? We might be having a student use maybe that immersive reading thing, and there may be a reading going on, and all of a sudden something came to that student's mind and he was on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatnot. In fact, we can block all those in school. Where I went to school, there's no access to none of this social media stuff. They cut it off. But anyways, there's potential distractions with the technology. And also there's a need for teacher training. Without teacher, they would not be able to learn. No matter how you do, even online things. For example, I taught a research and design course online, fully online, all of them videos, probably 30 plus videos. Even though I was teaching, I was not with them. So there are certain things that you cannot do, what you can do when you're in person. And while you're doing it online, you have to express certain things. You have to put emphasis on certain things and make sure that the students would get what you're saying and do what you're asking, because it takes an extra challenge, maybe extra layer of emphasis on your teaching. But then there's going to be a need for teacher training as well. So the integration of technology in classroom settings offer numerous benefits, as we looked at, including enhanced engagement, interactiveness, and also using multimedia content. Now, one of the ways that we could make quizzes more appealing is by, for example, I want to try this, but I didn't. I was going to give a map of the Bible, the book of Judges, and have them assign where these tribes were located. You can do that on one of these tools. They don't have to print it and do it with hand. They can do it online. They can put marks, check marks, and identify the locations. So you can do a lot of those things. Now you can use multimedia content for quizzes. For example, you can put out a picture and ask them, what is this? Maybe some of you who are teaching history in school or high school or elementary, you can put a president's picture and say, who's this? Name this president. They're going to see the face, they're going to put the name, and so it's going to be more interactive and also engaging. So the enhanced engagement is one of the benefits, of course, through interactive multimedia content, personal learning, and also many resources can be used. It also fosters collaboration through digital platforms and prepares students, that is the benefits challenges, it prepares the students for digital economy. However, challenges persist, such as equitable access. Of course, not everyone has the access to all of these things. And also maintaining student focus. What is the focus time span of a student for teachers? What is the answer? What is your answer? How long can a student focus on your teaching? Or anybody's teaching? Sorry?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. What happens after 20 minutes? There's jet skiing right there. They're going somewhere on the jet ski after 20 minutes. Can't focus, because even us, you can be studious and so forth, but our focus attention is so very limited. So within that, of course, the danger of even this technology thing is if you give 1 hour assignment, it's gone. So give multiple assignments, but keep them short so they can pay attention. If you want to give 1 hour assignment, break the thing down into 4 parts and so forth. Keep it short so they can focus and do well, because if they have extended time, it's gone, it's over, because they will not be able to focus. So another challenge is, of course, distractions with tools such as electronic stuff. and also teachers ought to be constantly looking at them, taking care of if they're focusing, if they're doing well, and so forth. So there's some challenges with the technology in the classroom, but they can be minimized. These challenges can be minimized if we understand how we can use the tools appropriately. Learning management systems, of course, the benefits of that is centralized course materials. You probably did not notice this, but I mean, I've used the Eucon.edu website, for example, as a learning management system as well. It can be created. A learning management system is what I created with Eucon and provide the research and the design course. So what happens with that is when students watch the video, we can assign within the video, that is what learning management system is, ask them questions in the middle of video if they're focusing or not, if they're following or not. You can add quizzes later on right after the video. You can do discussion questions, and one of the things that I've recently started with this semester for the MIT program is use the online tools for discussion questions to see where they are in their reading and the understanding and so forth. And of course, all of them do well with the discussion, because that also, makes a student curious about the question, and also while reading other people's answers, that might even help the student to do even more better than so and so and so. Maybe they won't express, hey, I'm going to compete with you, but some students would want to do better than other students. But there are ways that we could use the management systems to do better. So on Eucon, if you go to Eucon website, somewhere on the last button, you would see MAT portal. That is for master students portal. They can join, they can register there, they can go in there and see what courses are assigned to them. And once you start a course, of course, that is all automated. Every single one of them course is automated. So it'll go through the process. Every step student is to involve in every single step in order to pass the class, in order to do well. So learning management systems such as Canvas or Blackboard or Populi, we use Populi or Populi, however that is pronounced for MBA, but others such as Canvas and Google Classroom is one we used for some time. But free things comes with limited, so also Microsoft tools that are free comes with limited access. So Google Classroom can be used for teaching, for learning management systems. And Canvas, Blackboard is very pricey, but I've used Blackboard. It's very, very interesting. And also now this management system is Microsoft, the whole suite is a learning management system. I wish they have very few apps, but they have hundreds of apps that were created, and we have to process all those in order to see which one is helpful. So we can use these platforms, popular platforms such as Google Classroom, Canvas, Blackboard. If you're into Google products, if you want to use Google products for your course, of course you can. But the problem with Google is it won't allow you to record. There is no recording with Google Meet because they've removed it, and they need $12 per person per month in order for you to record. With Microsoft Teams, which you'll look at in the second session, there is an automated recording, or if you assign it, or it will record, and you can record the sessions as well. And all of them are going to be available in fast servers. I mean, literally, a lot more better than any of the servers that we probably know. Okay, so with the learning, I don't know what happened to my mouse. Sorry, it's not working. With the learning management system, of course, what we can do is we can design that to facilitate administration and documentation. For example, we can use that, as I mentioned, you can provide all kinds of files, PDFs, documents, and quizzes, and Google quizzes or Microsoft Forms quizzes. You can put a lot of content. That's how I use. Just not simply watching videos, but there's going to be content where they need to read and review, write a review, and so forth. So you can track the student progress. You can see the reports of what's going on, and also provide even more educational content based on, or reduce the content based on the insights that you receive from the LMS. So they also provide, that is the learning management systems also provide a centralized hub for both instructors and students to access course materials, submit assignments, track progress, and also communicate. And for the lower, for school, for example, high school or elementary school or even kindergarten school, you can use these tools to communicate with their parents. You can set access to parents where parents can see the insights of their students within these apps. They can log in, see what their son or daughter is doing and how they're doing and so forth. And you can communicate with them through this centralized hub. You don't have to go elsewhere and use other kinds of apps. Everything can be within here. So that is one of the beauties of Microsoft, is all of that is integrated into one big system, all the communication and so forth. Again, second part we will see very quickly what it is. So that is what LMS is. And if you want to experience a little bit of LMS, I suggest that maybe you can go and check on eucon.edu/mat-portal and see how David did. Just kidding. Grades are hiding, so you won't be able to see grades. Okay, so digital textbooks and ebooks. How many of you love to use hard copies? I'm super old school in this. You give me, I mean, digital books are fine, but they hurt. They hurt my head and my eyes. I love print, like I said, I'm a print man. I love print copies. But with the digital things, there are more benefits than print ones. So print ones, it doesn't hurt our eyes. It's really good. But digital copies are always going to hurt your eyes. No matter how many things they say, you can use this screen, you can use that screen, protective this, protective that. No, you'll have to get to this at some point if you keep on using digital. But hard copies are just beautiful, at least to me, and I just love the hard copies. But then there's both advantages and also disadvantages of that. So digital textbooks, and it's time for us to transit into digital textbook. For example, those who are in the MIT program, and I'm using that a whole lot because I teach, of course. Those who are in the MIT program, we provide them PDFs, or sometimes I provide them on the Logos software where they can use resources to use for their study. Digital books have hyperlinks. They're already linked. We don't have to create links. We don't have to write our own links and so forth. They're hyperlinked, and you can, again, read certain amount of text from the book. You can do that, what is called enhanced reading capabilities. So you can assign students to read the certain amount of chapter, certain amount of book for their class, and have them read that. Once they're done reading, you would know if they read it or not, because they have to finish a reading, and at the end of the reading they have to submit that I have read, and so on. So it's going to be so very helpful. So advantage of digital textbooks is easily updated. Of course, you don't have to reprint them over and over again as what is it called, as revised edition 1, revised edition 2, revised 3, revised 4. No, with digital ones, you can just go in there and update if there's anything wrong, you can update. Now, one of the sad things I would say is if you write a book, for example, let's say you wrote a 200-page book, so very fantastic. You spend $1,000 for the graphic designer to design the book and design the content of the book and the shape of the book, all that stuff. What if, while you're reading that first copy that you received, what if you caught a typo in your book? Are you going to be super happy? No, I won't. It's going to be very hard on me to learn that there's a typo. But what if it's a digital book? What if you wrote a book for your own class? I mean, what if you provided a manual for your own class? What if there is a typo? You can go in there and quickly change it. It automatically updates. They won't even know that you've updated. And that is advantage. Easily updated. They're lightweight, of course, portable. They only have to carry a laptop or a digital tablet or iPad or so forth. And they have, of course, the interactive features, such as they can highlight. Maybe later on I can show you some. They can highlight the word, highlight a sentence, copy and paste. And of course, you can do certain analysis, word analysis, phrase analysis, sentence analysis. All that is being done with, you can do that with these digital books. But with the hard copies, of course, you have to look at the reference, or for example, if you look at commentary, you have to look at the reference and then go back, open the Bible, look at the reference and read, and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But with digital copies, everything is right there. You can click. You don't even have to click these days. You can hover your mouse on a reference. It'll pop up a window and show everything that you need to learn. So it's so very helpful, digital, but still I love hard copies. Popular platforms, of course, Kindle, which maybe some of you love Kindle, but I have a hard time loving Kindle. Apple Books is better, if you ask me, because it's more interactive. Apple Books is more interactive than Kindle itself. Maybe Kindle they're also developing, but these are some platforms that you can purchase books, for example, for a very low fare and maybe assigned to students as well. So the problem, however, with the ebooks is it can cause eye strain and require electronic device and internet access. Of course, if you don't have internet, how can you use that electronic book? You'll have to find a way to download that before, for whatever reason. So in that way you can, but there's going to be some restrictions with the ebooks. Okay, moving on here. So creating a technology-enhanced curriculum, that is also very important for those of you who write the curriculum and programs. For example, if you are in, what is a program? It's a program where you're trained in order to write curriculum for the courses, for programs, for classes, and so forth. So if you were to write a curriculum, especially in these days that we live in, it is important and vital, to create a technology-enhanced curriculum. So what does this do is it would integrate with tools that we are going to use. For example, you can assign students to read so-and-so on certain tool, and the student would go to that certain tool to read or to write or to communicate with other people. Again, I will show you some of the tools later on. So it integrates integrating tools with the goals, for example. That is how you write a curriculum. What is the purpose of the curriculum? If you look at course syllabus, for example, you're going to notice at least 3 or 4 objectives in the course, right? At least one objective. That is the goal. What is the objective? What is the outcome that you're expecting by this course? If you're reading in theology of the Old Testament, for example, what is the purpose of this course? What is the objective or objectives that you want your class to learn? So you have to be able to meet those objectives in order to do well in the class. But for a university, for example, university will also have its own goals and objectives. A college will have its own goals and objectives. As a company, you'll have your own goals and objectives, and you got to be able to meet those objectives. At the same time, you also have to follow with the flow. That is the trend with the technology. You have to keep up with technology. How many of you are still using the phones where you dial them with the big key? I would love to keep it as something in the house, but we don't use that any longer. We go with the trend that is changing. So we have to use tools and design our curriculum with these tools in mind. And also, aligning with the objectives, there must be an ensuring technology enhances. Of course, the idea that technology enhances learning is what we need to keep in mind. Diverse tools for varied learning styles, that is multimedia content, personal experiences, of course, personalized experiences. We have to try and use as much as multimedia possible, because whether we like it or not, after some time, students would get bored of the teacher. You can be the best teacher ever, but after some time, you can notice that in their face, they're done with you. So what do? Put up a video, put up something, and have them look at the video and answer some questions. Always have some questions in mind when you're watching, when you're watching the video, because that's going to keep you engaged and also the students engaged with the content that you're watching. Sometimes it may not be video, sometimes it might be just article. You can read that online and have students explain what did we just read and so forth. So you can keep them engaged, but you have to design your curriculum with the tools in mind, because again, we're living in 21st century that is more technology oriented. Promoting digital literacy, this is also important. There's a need for safe and responsible use, where we have to explain that in the classroom setting and also as overall school setting. So safe and responsible use, and also critical thinking and problem solving. So how do we promote digital literacy? Preparing and enforcing digital literacy involves equipping students with the skills to navigate, evaluate, and create information using digital technologies. There are so many that are available today, and we need to be able to use them and help students to use them in order to create information using digital technologies. This includes teaching students how to use various digital tools. In other words, as a teacher, you can't just simply assign them, by the way, go to Viva Engage and answer a question that I post. What is Viva Engage? You got to go to Viva Engage and show that to the students and explain how to use it. How to use it. I haven't talked to Dr. Ray, but if Eucon wants to use Microsoft Suite for the university and artificial intelligence and so forth for school and university, we can prepare small videos and put it on the website where the training videos, you can go and learn how to do so and so and so and so and so. So you can use them even to point the students, okay, go here to the web page, learn this, and so on and so forth. So you have many ways to teach students, but you have to show them how to use the tools. Now, some of the kids, as were mentioned earlier, they're smarter than us. Of course, they can learn things just like that. Maybe they already know how to use these things. And some schools already use this Microsoft Suite and so forth, many other tools. So they have probably idea already, but we just have to encourage them, make sure in the class, whether someone knows it or not, is not the primary thing. Are you teaching this or not? Are you teaching your students how to use this tool appropriately? So that's why there is a safe and responsible use. People can use the tools however they want to use, but we have to make sure that they're using rightly. So schools need to integrate digital literacy into their curricula across subjects and grade levels, ensuring that students understand ethical and responsible use of technology. Again, we can use it however we want to, but we have to be careful in promoting that ethical use of technology. So online safety education is needed, ethical use of resources. How can you use so and so and so, and what is the bad way to use it? And what is the good way to use a resource? So you have to explain those. Critical thinking, problem solving, that is something that we all need to learn, of course, and also use that in classroom setting. We have to also promote analytical thinking. For example, when you ask questions, how does kids learn things? How do they learn things? Do they ask questions? Right? What is one of the philosophical questions? Just about everybody here is a philosopher, whether you like it or not. Everybody is a theologian, whether you like it or not. Right? It's just there. I mean, if I say something and you come to me and say, how do you know? What kind of question are you asking me? That's not theological. That's a what? It's on the philosophical level. So kids ask questions. Kids ask questions, that's how they learn. So you have to help them to think on their own. That is how they would learn the critical analytical thinking. We need that analytical thinking in our schools and societies today, because technology, as good as it might look, is going to make, if we are not careful, human beings, it's going to make us so useless, lazy, and all kinds of bad things, which we'll look at that in maybe in the second part. But it's got side effects, just like we take pills, Somebody congratulated me on getting fat. Thank you. That's what happens when I start insulin, that's all, it just bloated me up. But anyways, there's side effects with the medication, right? So same thing, side effects with technology. If you don't use them properly and teach students how to use it properly, there's going to be all kinds of problems. So we also have to encourage students in engaging problem-solving activities. This is A and this is B. How do you get to B? We may want to give some help and hints, but we just have to be very careful, because we want to make sure that they are actually trying to get to the point of B. As a teacher, of course, you can sense your students if they're trying to get to point B or just staring at B. Right? So based on that, you can provide some help. So this is a very important, promoting digital literacy. Most important thing I would say in this slide is to use safely. The safety use of technology is so very important. If you give this to a little kid, what's going to happen? If you give a phone to a little kid, they're going to explore these things and whatever. My son can move apps from this page to that. How do you know? I don't know how he knows. He explores these things. So kids explore certain things, and we just have to be so very careful into guarding them as to what not to use and what to use. So that's very important. Enhancing collaboration and communication. So tools like Google Workspace. Some of you have used that before probably. You have Eucon email is with the Gmail domain. So even though it is Eucon or edu, it works with Gmail. So that's tied up with Google Workspace. Right? So collaborative tools. You can use Google Workspace to communicate with students, to provide education enhancing by using technology and so forth. You can also use Microsoft Suite, especially Microsoft Teams, which itself is a little machine. It's just made up in such a way you can do a lot of things within the Teams. You can have a whole university level communication system within Teams. You can have your telephones, you can have video conferences, you can have many more things within Teams app. It's so robust and so huge, but again, it depends on how we use it. So technology significantly enhances collaboration, communication, and education by providing platform and tools that facilitate interaction among students, teachers, and also parents. Very important. So there's Google Workspace that provides some interaction, but not as much as Teams. Teams goes extra length in providing that. So facilitating interactions, there's going to be discussion forums later on. Maybe I will touch base of that. That's called Viva Engage from Microsoft. It is almost like a social media page. You can post content and everything. People can engage back and forth. I use that instead of social media thing. I use that with a discussion question, give them a scripture, and have them write what do you understand by reading the scripture. And everybody must answer, every other student as well. So it's really, at least for me, engaging, but I don't know how they felt. But it's called Viva Engage, which is really, really helpful. And of course, you can also assign virtual offices in the Microsoft Teams through Outlook Calendar. what is virtual office? You can stay online remotely wherever you are. You can address the concerns of your students. You can assign certain time. I'm available from 2 to 4 p.m. as on the virtual office hour. You can use that to communicate with the students and help them as well. So there's so many uses with these digital tools. So again, tools like discussion boards, collaborative documents, and video conferencing enable students to work together on projects regardless of physical location, promoting teamwork and diverse perspectives. So of course that is very important in education system, and there are certain tools in order to do that. So future trends in educational technology, AI and machine learning, which give me just a few minutes, I'll finish up with this and then we'll get to the next part. Future trends in educational technology, AI and machine learning. Of course, they're two massive tools. They have programs and degrees on these things, how to learn AI and machine learning. For example, you can join a university and get a diploma in one of these things or both. So AI and machine learning, there's personalized learning through AI and machine learning, and also predictive analytics. That is, the artificial intelligence can provide analytics as well. Gamification and game-based learning. That is, of course, maybe again, you can try this later on. If you go to Eucon website again, there's a course of RES 600. And there, sometimes not sometimes, under every video, there is a comment section, gamification, comment section. So what happens if you're a student? If you write 1 to 2, 3, 2, 4, 5 comments, you're going to get a badge. The more you write, the more different colored badges or things that you would see, and that's going to encourage a student to be involved even more. I mean, that's just a simple example. You can assign some logos or some pictures or some sort of things, gamifications that will encourage a student to come and write more. For maybe you're on Facebook groups, for example. If you write more comments, what do you see by your name? Top writer or top contributor or something, and you have a little icon that shows by your name. So you're a little bit special. What happens when students see that they're a little bit special? Is that going to encourage them to be involved more, or is it going to push them or discourage them? Small things, I would say, will make a big difference in student learning. Small encouragements. If we discourage a student constantly, what is going to happen to the student? That student, again, we live in 21st century, can say goodbye and leave. But if you encourage a student, it doesn't have to be fake, but if you encourage a student even maybe once in a while, what happens? That student would be learning more and more because there is encouragement. So artificial intelligence it is. So here it is, how to use artificial intelligence in the classroom setting. We're not going to have this robot in the classroom. I hope, there are also side effects with this. Also, in other words, there are disadvantages with this. Artificial intelligence in the classroom. So what is an AI? Artificial intelligence refers to a branch of computer science, IT, that focuses on creating machines and software capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. That is the key. It typically requires human intelligence. Without human mind, these things don't work. Who created the information that is available in the world? It just popped out of nowhere? No. From generations and generations and generations, it is us who wrote. There's so much of stuff that is available, so it is us who made all that. The artificial intelligence depends upon human intelligence. Again, it is a man or scientist, a woman, a scientist in this area. They have to go and create certain things. And as I read news and learned a little bit about AI, every now and then, I read a lot of news. I've learned that this AI wanted to, at one point, when a journalist asked a question, what do you want to do? The AI responded saying, I want to kill humanity. You can create some things, but you have to be so very careful in what you create. So now, how many of you were aware of military veterans here? Any military veterans? When you go into a war zone, you got to have an exit plan, right? You got plan A, you got to be plan B, you may even need to have plan C, but you certainly would have to have exit plan. For this thing, there is no exit plan yet, because it's gone so far to how far, we will see that in just a little bit. So this AI is created by human beings, of course. The tasks include, that is learning, that is AI, and its tasks include learning, reasoning, problem solving, understanding natural language. That thing can speak in just about any other language, also understand, it responds to us. Siri, for example, on the phone, Siri, do this and so and so and so. It responds to you, right? Google Alexa, play this song to me. I mean, they're written specific codes for that to respond. So when you say play this so and so, it's going to play so and so. But if you talk some gibberish, it's not going to respond because it doesn't know what you're talking. So there's something that for us to understand. So the task of AI include learning, reasoning, problem solving, understanding natural language, perception, even some degree of creativity. Of course, people can create these slides by using AI. You can tell the AI thing to create you a PowerPoint slide, it'll do it. There's certain slides, programs called as Beauty AI and some other AI that would create PPT slides for you if you just give the content, give a command to it. So AI systems are designed to stimulate human cognitive processes and can be classified into different types. Of course, we're not going to get into all the different types, but there's so many different types of AI that is available there. So benefits: increased engagement, personalized learning, better accessibility. Challenges: digital divide, again, potential distractions and need for teachers training is so very important because we can't just let students deal with this AI thing, because AI, it's almost like playing a mind game. It's almost like playing a mind game, so you have to be really, really careful. What are some benefits of AI? Adaptive learning systems. AI can tailor educational content to meet the individual needs and learning pace of each student. It can be customized, so it can use for customizable curriculum based on student performance and learning preferences. AI can suggest personalized study plans and resources. Nothing wrong with it, but we have to make sure, again, even though we use AI in our lives, in schools and settings, so forth, we must always keep an eye on this AI, okay, because it is not perfect. How many of you use Grammarly to correct your English and help your English writing? Is that perfect? No. You have to input. You got to go back and make sure and just scratch your head a little bit and why are you doing this? And then readjust these things on Grammarly. There's another app called PWA, something with a PWA, Pro Writing Aid. AI, but you still have to go and look through the sentence because sometimes sentences won't make any sense. Why? Because AI is guessing. It's guessing to some extent. Some of them say, oh, we write difficult codes for this thing to work in such a way to respond to human mind. Maybe I'll wait until the later part, but it is created by humanity, so it's got some limitations, and we always have to have a second eye. If we don't have the second eye, or if you neglect watching students, for example, if you use AI in the classroom, it's going to lead them in the wrong direction. So we have to be so very careful. Efficient administrative tasks, for example, automated grading. We can do that using AI. And also attendance tracking. For if you use Microsoft Teams, for example, for your class teaching, you don't have to worry about attendance. You know who came late, who's on time, who's before time, because it keeps tracks of every student and how long they stayed. If there is internet problems, it'll show you they're coming in, going off, coming in, going off. So there's a graph for all that stuff. So you know if they're really, appropriate reason or they just want to disappear. You would know. So there's so many tools within this thing that we could use. So automated grading and tracking is available. Data-driven insights, performance analytics, how students are performing. For example, if you use this, that AI would tell if student is doing well or not well, how is their mood towards this whole course, whole class. For example, we send in forms at the end of the class, evaluation forms, and we ask them to send it back. These tools can actually tell how they're doing if we know how to get to insights and based on how they react. So there are also early intervention, for example, by identifying at-risk students through predictive analysis. That is also AI task. AI can help educators intervene early and provide additional support when needed. And assistive technologies, AI can support students with disabilities by providing tools like speech-to-text, text-to-speech, and personalized learning aids. Language translations, AI tools can help translate in several languages. Of course, you can, that's going to be helpful for a multilingual school as ours. For example, translation tools can help non-native speakers understand course materials, promoting inclusivity in diverse classrooms. Physical dangers of AI, physical concerns, data collection. AI systems often require extensive data collection to function effectively. So we have to be very careful. You can ask all kinds of information. We have to be very thorough in giving information. Misuse of data, of course, that's going to be taking place. There's a risk of data being used improperly, either by authorized individuals or for purpose beyond the original intent. We have to be so very careful with the data privacy. But of course, where is privacy these days? And other danger is bias and also fairness. There is going to be algorithmic bias, and we learned from Google Gemini is what they call, or Gemini, the AI, that got into a little problem because it was biased to certain things. So they can be biased, and lack of transparency. It can be difficult to understand how AI algorithms make decisions, which can lead to concern about fairness and accountability. So it's not, of course, a human mind. They try to put into emotions in that, and they maybe respond with emotional, but AI is not made in the likeness and image of God. Okay, so there's a divide right there as far as emotions and understanding of a person is concerned. But with tasks, things such as that, we can use it. But again, we have to be very careful. Reduce human interaction by using AI. There's going to be loss of personal touch. That's not going to be good, right? I mean, it's like living in solitary confinement if there's no interaction. And so over-reliance on technology is another problem as well. Excessive dependence on AI might reduce opportunities for students to develop critical interpersonal skills, of course. The more we depend on this, the more, like I said earlier, the lazy we become, or we just neglect what we ought to be doing for the growth of a child. So dangerous things that we have to keep in mind. Equity issues, access to technology, of course, that is another problem. And there's going to be divide. Schools in underprivileged areas may struggle to afford and implement advanced AI systems in their schools because a lot of these are so very expensive. Job security, if AI enters into the company, a lot of people might lose jobs because AI can do those jobs more efficiently than human beings. So there is that danger. And devaluation of teaching profession, because this can overtake a teacher's job and do actually better than, at least what AI professional says, a better job than an individual teacher can do, which is really not all that healthy. Skill erosions, that is, there is a risk that both students and teachers might become overly reliant on AI, leading to a decline in fundamental skills and critical thinking, of course. We would not be using our minds properly or rightly if we rely upon AI. So, and the last slide here, well, not last, just a couple more here. System failures, of course, when there is a problem with AI machine, what can we do? There is no technology assistant that could repair AI. It's very, very, very expensive to go and get these things fixed. And finally, this is what the world thinks of AI now, which should concern us. AI is God. So that's what it's made into. There's a source right there, and maybe later on I can share the source as well. There's an article that's written about that. AI is God of this universe. And one guy wrote, if it is not, in 10 years, it's going to be God of this universe. Because people from all over are going to rely upon this AI. It's going to intervene into everything. You can control certain things, automobiles and computers and whatnot, everything with this thing. I mean, you can't trust this AI really. But people talk big. Why? They promote big. Why? Because people can get into these things and use it. But again, there's a danger. For this world, AI is God. And someone even wrote an article saying the super intelligence God. Who is the super intelligent God? It is not God of the Bible. It is this one right there. So that is also understood as AI is God. So we have to be careful, but there is only one supreme and sovereign God. None other is God, because these are all made with human. Anything that is man-made stuff is simply man-made stuff. But we cannot come to the point of elevating this AI so much it becomes our idol. And there is that danger, absolute danger, that's going to take place if we are not careful. So any questions? That's part one, by the way. Any questions? Before we go to the, yes, ma'am.
You said something about you can't look at the screen too long or it will affect you. So what do you do about that?
If you look at screen too long, of course that's going to hurt. For me, I was giving an example. For me, it hurt my eyes and also my head. If you look at too long, just stop looking at it for some time. Because books are made with a different shade of color. See, the paper is not pure white. So there's something with the book that won't hurt your eyes, but you may use reflective screens to help you a little bit. But again, none of that is guaranteed. You can use a screen on the monitor that could use, or glasses that are Blu-ray reflective. It can help. There are other tools that would help you. My glasses are that blue, whatever you call the thing, so reflective. It helps. So any questions? Okay, so Dr. Ray, I turn it over to you. Okay, so in this second part of the Technology in Classroom presentation, I want to look at Microsoft 365 and try to explain some of these things. We have 3 videos, very short. Maybe I will go ahead and create a Teams, what do you call it? A Teams channel for professional development itself, where you can actually post things and also add people and do a lot of other stuff. So just so you can see how we're going to do all this, so let me explain what Microsoft 365 is for now, and then we will go into the rest of the presentation. So as you can see, these apps, this is one of the, of course, I use all of these apps, but what is Microsoft 365? As we're looking at so many apps here, the Excel, Teams, Outlook, PowerPoint, OneNote, Yammer, also known as Viva Engage now, Word document, and Drive, OneDrive, SharePoint, which we won't touch base about that because that's a little bit complicated to understand, and also Dwell. Dwell is basically where you have all of your documents. So, what is Microsoft 365? Microsoft 365 is a product family of productivity software, collaboration, and cloud-based services owned by Microsoft. Of course, one of the good things, like with many other softwares as well, is they offer free of these softwares for students and faculty, and also to some extent for nonprofits as well. But at some point, you'll have to purchase, hire, or upgrade to enjoy all the benefits and stuff that comes with the products. So 365 is a product family of productivity software, and we use it, of course, for our classes, and heavily reliant upon Microsoft products in this last 2 semesters, because if you recall, we used to use for university BBB, which is hosted on Microsoft Azure server, but we had so many of the problems with that. And then I personally use Google Classroom, which is Google Workspace that used by the university. And after that, while we were using Google Workspace, I transitioned into Microsoft Teams. So that is where we are right now as university is concerned, classes are concerned. I myself and Dr. Pothana, we use Microsoft products heavily in our classroom setting. So what we're going to look at today is basically at least 3 to 4 of these. So I have 3 here. One is Microsoft Teams, and OneNote is a notebook. And you can have several notebooks within the notebook. And OneDrive is the space that you get if you sign up as a faculty member. You get a space. Of course, you can store your products in the OneDrive, and also share your documents or whatever you want from OneDrive. OneDrive is your hub as storage drive, but I think maximum they would give is 1 terabyte. So if you have more than 1 terabyte, I would just say use your thumb drive, because you can purchase more space, but I think they cut limits. It used to be 300 gigabits for Professor, but I think now they made 100 gigabits because, of course, Microsoft want to make money. Is this going live? Well, anyways, they make money just like any product. So we're going to look at just these 3, how you can use those in the classroom. And I have 3 videos here. After that, I'll show you some of the things, how we can do some of the things here on the product. So let's see if this is going to work.
This is Microsoft Teams, the app where work and collaboration is happening today, even when everyone isn't in the same room or time zone. Teams is a space where you and your team come together, but it's more than just a place to chat or do.
In-person and remote teammates. It makes working in real time or at your own pace easier than ever before.
Or hybrid work, so you can stay informed, organized, and connected, all in one place. Now let's take a closer look at how collaboration works in teams. Chat is where you can message someone or a group of people to talk about, well, anything. Teams and channels create focused spaces to gather the right people to work in the right context with files and conversations. Under calendar, meetings connect the flow of work before, during, and after you meet, so prep and follow-up are easy to find. Apps is the doorway to new ways to work together. Find familiar apps and new ones to simplify, customize, and manage how you work. How we get work done together has changed, and Teams is made for today's workplace. Built to give you the flexibility to do your best work your way.
All right, so that is a small clip about Microsoft Teams, and we'll look into more details later on. Hold on, that. So now we're going to look at, I'm just putting up these 3 videos back to back so you can get a sense of what these are and how we might be using later on, as I'll show that. So what you just saw is Microsoft is a collaborative tool. You can use that for classroom teaching, classroom communication. I use that to chat and also create channels, because if you have, for example, different chapters assigned to your students, you can use different channels to communicate based on the chapters, do a lot of other things. So we'll get into the details in just a little bit. This second one I want you to see is Microsoft OneNote. And there is a new product that's called Loop, but I want you to look at OneNote so you can see what this OneNote is and how you may be able to use this in your classroom. And this is where I provide all my class notes. And you can ask Leo and David here. All the class notes is in this OneNote, different chapters, different sections. You can also use that for collaborative assignments and spaces. You can do a lot of things. You can record directly into OneNote. You can do audio only, or you can draw things if you're good at drawing. I'm not good with the mouse drawing, so I don't use the drawing tool a whole lot. But you can do a lot of things with OneNote, and it is really a great space to keep things together organized. Oh, give me 1 second. Yeah.
When you have an idea and don't want to forget it, capture it quickly with Microsoft OneNote. It's where you can take notes, or add a photo, video, or file to get all your inspiration in one place. It keeps you in the flow of your work with quick notes. It helps you transcribe and write down ideas at the same time, so you can multitask. It's where you keep everything organized. Add or move notes around, put pages into a section, and keep sections in 1 or more notebooks. Tag notes, so you're always on top of your to-do list. Check, and check.
And search and find notes when you want, because all your notes are stored in the cloud. Start them on one device and pick up on another. It's your world, organized with OneNote. When you need your files protected and available, Microsoft OneDrive is your storage space. It keeps your stuff ready so you can get to it from anywhere, whether that's your office, your couch, or out and about. It's a place to upload and store your files and photos on one device, and everything gets automatically synced to another. Nice. Now everything's stored on OneDrive and easy to access. It's all protected to make sure your files stay safe and secured. And choose who to share them with. So send a link to your favorite memory, a class project, or a report to collaborate on to take and share your digital life anywhere with OneDrive.
Okay, so basically those 3 apps is what we use the most, at least I use the most, and I just want to give you an idea of what they are. There are, of course, several of the apps that we can combine and use for educational purposes and also in your classroom setting that I believe would be so very helpful. Again, if you need help with these things, please let me know. We can try and help. But what I want to do now is actually remove this PowerPoint and then go into other apps. I also want to share a little word about those of you who would like to use Zoom. We have other tools. Of course, Zoom is one that you can use to collaborate, communicate, do webinars, and also meetings with a lot of people. With Teams also, there is something that you can do just like Zoom. So every tool has its own way of learning. There's a learning curve. You can use them for class purposes, and they all have their own purposes, of course. That's why they're designed. But we want to focus on just the Microsoft things because these are more effective in classroom usage as far as I'm concerned. If you have free Zoom account, that's going to be gone in 40 minutes. I think it'll end in 40 minutes. But with Teams, I think 4 hours is straight. You can do 4 hours straight communication. You can go even more if you have a purchased account. I personally have a purchased account, so let me show you this first. So I can use a lot of these apps without any time restrictions and so forth. For example, this Microsoft account that we have for Eucon is obviously tied up with another company called Zones, where we can purchase for lower price of licenses. If you directly go to Microsoft, it's going to be so expensive. But there are ways to achieve, as you can see here. Let me share this. Maybe I can share this over here, but of course, I won't be able to share the grades and stuff because there's privacy issue. I won't be getting into the grades, but you can see the several names of all of our students and everything else listed over here. I sent you, for example, let's see, so here's Brother Wong, for example. I made his account earlier, but I sent you a link yesterday in the Facebook groups to register. If you haven't registered, please do so, because once you register, you will get into here. This is what you'll be coming into, and once you get there, I can assign licenses to you, or if you register as a faculty, it's going to be assigned automatically. There shouldn't be any more work on that, but it'll be here, and we can add your devices or licenses, or you can use OneDrive automatically. All of this are automatically set when you register, but you have to register first. And what emails are you going to use? If you use your Gmail, Yahoo, all that stuff, they're going to be removed from Microsoft use. Please only use eucon.edu email ID to register. Later on, we can change your email to Eucon U, meaning Eucon University, because Eucon is taken by somebody. I don't know who took the domain. Eucon.microsoft. I tried for 3 months to get that domain, but it's gone. So we changed it to Eucon U. So of course, I had to deal with Microsoft for more than almost 5 months, I think, back and forth to get these things worked out, because there was some issue with all that. But here is everything is set right now, and you can register. Once you register, you're going to be coming into the Microsoft 365. If you're faculty, you'll have faculty access. If you're a student, you'll have student access. And so you can use Microsoft tools to in your classroom setting. So this is the main hub where everything is going to take place. And of course, there are many other tools with 365. There's identity, meaning we take care of security issues, and Teams, which is what we were looking at. SharePoint, which we won't look at because it's so very complicated, but you can get into any of these things and you would see all kinds of tools that we use for classroom setting. That's why I said it's going to be, well, the other problem, not problem really, another important step with Microsoft is it's got a double security, 2-factor authentication required. So you'll have to download on your phones the app called Microsoft Authenticator. That is important. So once you sign in to Microsoft account, you have to download Authenticator, because it's going to authenticate that you're a real person, enter the code, then it'll get you into the whole program. So if you think, well, I cannot log in, that's because you did not download Microsoft Authenticator and authenticated your ID and the number together, security number. So in order to do that, first thing I've mentioned that you could go here and log in. When you click Get Started, I think this is where it'll take you to log in. You can go in here and let's see. It'll show you a sign up field, basically, where you can sign up. It's saying I'm already signed in, so obviously I'm signed in, but it's going to show you a field here to enter your email. You can enter your email and then select faculty, or I think there's only 2 options, faculty and student. So you can select one of those, and you'll be here. You'll be in this section where we can then add you as staff or faculty and so forth. So this is a massive tool right there. This dashboard that you see is not simply for tools. There is all kinds of telephone system and messaging system. Everything is put in right here. If you see here, for example, Teams, manage Teams. These are the number of classes that we use. We have currently using Teams for MAT program. All of these are MAT classrooms. And this is one of the latest ones, of course, I taught, and Dr. Pothanai also uses. Some of these are his classes, some of those are my classes. So all of them come here, into one place, and then we can go on, open up the Teams and move in here. So let's see how it all works out. I can open the Teams app right there. So if you downloaded it already, please log in, and I can show you how to do certain things. So, okay, that is the Teams app that we use. I have different IDs, couple of IDs. So this is one of the classes that I taught recently, Old Testament theology. Of course, so maybe I'll use a different class where I haven't graded yet, so nobody can see the grades. Let's see. I'll use the theology, but right here I can create a team for Eucon. It could be named maybe Eucon University or Eucon PD. Eucon Professional Development, so I can use the classroom or professional learning or a staff team where staff could communicate within, only staff. Nobody gets in there. These are already protected. We can even make them even more protective. Nobody else gets in there. Only staff gets in there. Only school, high school or elementary school gets in there. They have their own thing. But of course, there's going to be global administrators that can get in and watch everything. But even then, they can also be restricted if certain teachers or professors are not comfortable with it. But this is how we create. So usually, for our purposes, we create a class. And of course, it's going to come with one channel. Channel is where you communicate all kinds of things. You post things to students, and they get notifications. They respond. They take quizzes, and everything comes into the channel. But you can create a number of channels for each class. So I'll show you how many I use, for example, in my previous class. So basically, what I'm doing right now is creating a channel. So I could type Eucon PD just for the sake of creating. We can delete it later on. So that's going to create a channel. If you register already, I can add your names into it, and you will receive whatever goes in here. You'll receive notifications, and you'll be in the loop. You can use Notebook, you can use Drive, you can use a lot of this stuff. So I can even add now. So let me add, let's see, S. Wong, if it recognizes your name. Nope, it did not. Maybe I need to check something. Let's see if it pulls up David. Oh, David is well known for Teams. So he's everywhere. So basically I could even add someone as a member, as an owner, and so forth, do a lot of stuff. Let's see if I can add Dr. Bolton. I know their emails are in here. Oh, okay. So for example, let's see. Okay, Dr. Judy Way is also here. So you're going to get notifications. Okay, just for the sake of adding it, there it is. We have a new class created on Teams. So if I add your names, you'd be able to see your this classroom in your team. So those of you who are here, who are added now, can see in your Teams app that Eucon PD should be added to your Teams app, and you should be able to notice all that. And this is where we actually see, for example, there's a home page. You can prepare your home page, class notebook, and then class work. Classwork is basically done in a modules way, so it's going to have different modules. For example, let's say your class is 15 weeks. You have 15 modules, and each week modules contains that week's assignments or readings or whatever you want the student to do in the order you want them to do. Are you all with me, following? So you can assign a structure to your course, and they all follow the structure to complete the course. This is going to be helpful even for remote students who are not in person, who are completely doing it online. They would go through the classwork area and follow the structure that you've designed for the class. So they have to watch videos, they have to write a review of the videos, they have to read an article, write a review, take an exam, take a quiz, and so everything goes into each of those modules. And they finally, once they're done with all the modules, they're done with class, and they can get the grade. So all of that is so very automated. And I see just there's also a comment by David right now. He just wrote a comment, so thank you for adding. So he's in the classroom of this PD. So assignments, again, you go here, assignments, there's grades, there's reflect, very important for us. I use this because this is what tells me that tells me what is the mood of the student, for example. How is a student doing? What is he or she going through? Or should I communicate and see if there's any issues with the class, or maybe there's a learning problem? I mean, this will give me insights. And of course, insights, most people don't check insights. but it's very, very important for us to keep track of the insights. So, for example, I'm just going through briefly here. If I go back to Teams, now I had the Eucon PD, it's on here. And if I go with Systematic Theology 2, for example, I want to show you how we do it. And that's going to reflect OneNote later on, the class note. I will show the class note, how we can use the class note. Of course, it depends upon the internet. You should have good internet. But again, one of the best things with the Teams is when you record your class, the quality of the recording is so good compared to any other products, whether it's Google or BBB. BBB won't come in close to the quality of the recording that you would see over here. So for example, this is a notebook for the class. This is OneNote, maybe I'll come to that later on. But you see classwork here, if you click on classwork, you're going to have different modules, and within the modules, you can assign all kinds of things. So these are modules, readings and summaries. They have certain readings or exams, whatever they have, you assign them. They're going to come into these modules. Each student should go through the modules. If it is in class, of course, only in class, that's different. But if it's completely online, you can assign everything in the module. If there is no need for teachers' interaction, in-person or video interaction, you can assign everything in order, let the student go along and do the work. So that is classwork modules. Assignments, of course, when you give assignments, you'll have the assignments, everything listed here, ready to grade or past due. All the assignments are right here. And you can simply click on the button below to create an assignment. Now, I talked about the learning feature in the Teams. So you can create new assignment, new quiz, or learning accelerators, for example, reading progress, and so on and so forth. So I use this, for example, with some of the MAT students who wants to learn how to read properly. So we have like 5 or 6 students who join on their own. And I assign some readings. What they do is they go in and read the text that I assign while they record the video at the same time. So this program, this reading progress program, would then show me the result of how the student is doing, whether he is reading fine or if there are any mistakes and what needs to be improved and so forth. So this is really going to be helpful for ESL, those who are teaching ESL. You can assign a chunk of text and have them read the chunk of text and then follow up with how they're reading. In fact, the program AI is used in this that would monitor how the student is doing the reading and even help the student pronounce it rightly and even ask cognitive questions, for example, to see if the student is actually following the reading or just reading it for the sake of reading. You know, I mean, it's good to know not just to memorize a verse, for example, but you also have to know the concept of the verse. Because the best way, in my understanding, to memorize a verse is not just blindly, I mean, not really blindly, but just bluntly memorize it. You have to know the context. That's when you're going to remember it more quickly. So same thing here. They can do the reading, but if they don't follow with the reading, then then they won't be able to understand. It also will teach complicated words. You know, high-end words, for example, sophisticated words in English, and it will teach them how to pronounce and what's the meaning of it. If they have questions, they can pause and so forth. So this program for now, it uses 10-minute slot, 5 to 10 minute slot. You can give 10 minutes of reading, they read, and it'll show you the result of it. So I think it's going to be really helpful for those who want to read, who want to learn how to read, how to pronounce, and all that stuff, good stuff. So it's very helpful for ESL. But again, you can create assignments from there on. You can explore more on this. And then the other thing is, of course, grades, which there is no final grade yet, so you can't figure out who got which grade. So this is how it looks. All the grades with all the students that have taken this class so far. There is no final alphabetical grade, but it gives basically what grade they received in certain things. Some of them are not yet graded, but you see, it provides all the information of gradings. And then you can go up top here, as I mentioned earlier, export to Excel. And then, I mean, it does a beautiful job with Excel exportation. So you can send that directly to the office and you're done with the classroom when you turn in the assignment grades. So this is really fantastic. I haven't seen such the process of such thing in Google Classroom, for example, because Google, you got to deal with Google and do certain things to manipulate certain things. But here it's all done. I mean, you'll just get the end result. And reflect, of course, if you enable the reflect, for example, in Teams, you're going to see how students are doing. But you have to enable this in your assignments. When you prepare assignments, you have to enable the reflect, and it will show you. Of course, I didn't use this a whole lot in this class, but it will show you how the students were feeling, are doing, and within that reflection, there's also going to be, you see, there's a gauge here, or how they're doing, and of course, you can hover over to each of these and try to find out, study about the student. Of course, we need to know the students, right? Any teacher would want to know your students in order to communicate well and try to help well. So this is going to be helpful. The insights is the other thing here that is also very important. Most people probably won't look or have time to look at the insights, but I would suggest that you look in the insights. And also I encourage using Teams for your classrooms in the future if you think this is going to work well. But we use for MAT Teams, Microsoft products altogether. So maybe later on I'll show some of that. So anyways, this will provide the insights of your students and how they're doing and what they're doing and so forth. And it'll give you insights how you can help them better. AI, as we learned earlier, that would suggest certain things. Of course, we can take it or leave the suggestions. But based on this analytics and everything else, it will tell you what certain student is going through and so on. So let me click here. Of course, you may not be able to see the names from there, but you see the calm, successful, stressful, or peaceful, tired. These are the things that they would select, and this program would explain what a student is going through. Now, if you click on each and individual student, it'll show you the analytics of that student. So it's going to be it's very personal. It's going to help you learn about the student so you can communicate with them and adjust what needs to be adjusted. Now, coming to the channels, the first channel is general because everything is right here. Every post, for example, this is one of the questions, what does it mean by Jesus taking a different form in Mark 16:12? And I've asked the students to read the text and communicate. So they read that and they write their responses, observations, and so forth. So basically, this is where all the assignments are going to be. And even the lectures that I taught, everything is going to be in this general channel. And you can actually create more channels for discussions or in-class presentations where students would go there and give the presentations. They would upload their documents, they would present. If there are students in class, they would do in-class presentations. If the students are online, remote, they would record it using Teams, because once they use Teams to record, it's going to be posted here automatically. At least to the most part, they can make sure that it is, because if you select this in-class presentation, do the recording from there, it's going to be posted in that channel. So it's going to be really, really helpful to keep everything together, and we can see all the results of every student, every presentation right there. And then, of course, you can give the grade right there, and all the grades will go into the grade tab there. That's how it's going to work. So that is brief information about Teams. Of course, there's lots of videos on learning Teams, how to learn Teams on YouTube. A lot of professionals did. The vice presidents of Microsoft themselves did these videos. You can find them on YouTube. Also, if you use PowerPoint, for example, let's just say this one. Right now, this PowerPoint presentation is what I presented. Okay, so if I save this presentation, click here, Auto Save. It's going to ask me if I want to save it in OneDrive. That's the folder where you save your things. I say, okay, go ahead and upload in OneDrive. So it's going to upload in OneDrive. You would notice something that was not there before. And what is that something? You'll see on the top right, there's an icon that will pop up, says you can present it in Teams now. You can directly present the presentation in Teams. And if I go ahead and do present in Teams, it's going to come here and should ask me, because it's going to ask, let's see, maybe I need to click on this general thing. Okay, let's see, present it in Teams. When I click on present in Teams, it's supposed to be popping up something, but I don't know why it's not popping up. But it should ask me, it'll present right here, so I don't have to do, oh, I know why. Because I did not make a Meet Now. I don't have to record it, but I don't know where it's going. It is here. So let's see. I click on Meet Now. You can connect that Meet Now at any time. If I do this, maybe it'll show up my face over there. Yes. So I hit join, and there is the presentation. Don't worry about the meeting, present. So that's how we use Teams in the classroom. I use. There's a presentation right there. Everything is showed on the screen. There's camera. There's all kinds of stuff. There's chat. As you can see, there is a way to chat and how many people are in the classroom. You can look at all these details, and that thing is going to keep track of the attendance and so forth. There's a reaction, all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is really a robust technology right there. So you can use this to draw, which I don't do it because I'm not skilled in drawing the, see? I'm not skilled in drawing with the mouse. So, but you can do a lot of things with this presentation thing. It's really, really interesting. Of course, you can highlight, you can do a lot of stuff. Okay, if you have your notes, you can put your notes on the right here, go through that. So all the students will appear right here on this side, or however you want them. There's a view as well on the top. You can change the view, how you want the view in a gallery or speaker together mode. Let's see, together mode, there's a different scenes like that. You can put everybody in their chair in one place or somewhere outside. You can put them somewhere. It's going to do all the background removal and do that fun stuff. Yes?
Yes, Dr. Madaso, in the notes, is there a text box in the notes you can type? Like
Yes.
And then you can present a picture
Yes.
with the notes?
Yes. Oh, in this team?
For example, you are presenting human anatomy. You have to, for example, you have to present the heart. You can insert the picture of the heart and then label it.
Yes.
By
Yes.
the text box.
Absolutely, yes. You can always pre-upload your documents as well. You can do that, or you can share your screen while you're doing it. You can do that, and so there are many ways to share. For example, like if I stop sharing this presentation here, let's say stop, and I want to share something, you can always go over here and click on that share. Look at me, it's put me on the chair there. So there is what you can share. You can share applications. Many of these applications, you can do all kinds of stuff with the sharing. So it's more powerful, I would say, in many sense. So once you're done with that, I'm not recording now, but you got to go here and hit record, or you can set up an auto record feature. Yes.
Sorry, Dr. Madaso, because I was reminded when Dr. Way's Facebook was hacked, and then the hacker called us, and then Dr. Way's face is there talking, asking us to send him money. So I remember that's how Dr. Way acted like, and then it looks like strange because he's acting like a robot, you know. So
That's
discern that it is.
You can do that.
Yes, that is really useful also for the hackers.
You can morph everything, remove the person's head and put some. So you record over here, and again, breakout rooms. It's so useful. So once you're done, you can just leave, and for everybody, and that's being done with the team. So this is how you would do the Teams meeting. Now let me go through the notes here really quick, because I can show you the notes right from here. The OneNote notebook that you've asked about, we can take notes right from here, and usually I share all these notes with the students. So for example, right there, when you enter the names of your students in the Teams, it'll automatically create a space for your students in the OneNote notebook. In other words, when you don't have to go to every individual student and post things in their folders, because everyone gets assigned a folder. What you do is you can upload documents, for example, teachers only or content library and so forth. So you can put in one of these folders, and you can distribute that file to everybody at the same time. Or you can delete the file from everybody's folder at the same time. You can individually share files to individual students. If you don't want somebody else to have that file, you can share it with somebody else. You can also record, look, for example, there is a textbook, there's a file for textbooks. So we have 2 textbooks. How do I share this with all the students? This is in my folder. How can I share that with all? You see the list of students on the bottom left. All of them are students. So how do I set this up? I can send by clicking here and distribute the page. And page, whether you want to send it to all or some, you can manipulate everything from here. But it's not just content only. You can also put videos. You can do audio recording. For example, you want to give guidance. Let's just say you just posted an assignment to the students, and you forgot to mention something. You can either write that in the Teams, or you can come here, record an audio, and say, by the way, I want you to do so and so and so and so and so. And you can do a lot of stuff. You just have to explore this program. So that is how you share all the notes, and that's how I do it. Syllabus, textbooks, and professor class notes, and everybody. If you click on the students, for example, and one of the students, they should have all the notes that is provided if they keep up with all the notes. So that is the notes for that doctrine, theology of doctrine, systematic theology 2, and so they have all the notes, that is given to them. So right there. So all of them have the notes access. They can print, they can save them as a PDF or save them on a Word document, however they want. Once it goes into there, they can save it however they want to save. So this is a central place. Now you can use this. For example, you can go to Insert. You can create new sections within this section. Of course, you can organize things. You can insert these pictures or from online or files, and even add-ons. Of course, you can explore what add-ons are useful. And then there's also supposed to be something where you can, there's a record. So of course I have to click somewhere here. I can record the audio. I can do the drawings, mathematics. If you're a math teacher, you can use this to provide formulas and everything else and do lots of stuff. So I'm not sure what is with Microsoft Notebook and mathematics. They're so good buddies. So you can use all kinds of these things, mathematics, to teach math through this notebook as well. But of course you can draw, highlight, do everything. Maybe some of you already do the mind mapping thing, right? How many of you use mind mapping tools? You can do mind mapping right there. Take a concept. I'm exploring how to use mind mapping tools for sermon preparation. You can take a passage, break that apart, and try to see what this passage is saying. So mind map is basically expanding your thought. You're going to stretch your brains a little bit to see how you can organize, how you can learn the content of a passage, and how you can organize that. So you can do mind mapping. You can just Google mind map. You'll see pictures of it. You can do that over here and just send out to students. Maybe you can send a project and say use mind mapping tools and bring out what you can bring out through reading the passage or paragraph or so forth. So you can use a lot of those stuff. Now the other one I want to look at, let me check the time, I think I'm running out of time, is obviously OneDrive. And OneDrive is basically a space where you can save all the folders and everything, and they're protected, as you saw in the video. You have to share them in order for other people to receive. So OneDrive is a place where you recently opened up or saved some things, and that's also really, let me see if I can, so that is a OneDrive. This is all just one big hub, but you can put all your notes and files and folders, everything else over here. So all your recordings as well will go in a recording folders, and presentations in a presentation folder. It's already organized, but you can use this to store your files, and it'll be helpful when you're presenting, when you're teaching, and so forth. So again, that is OneDrive. You can use OneDrive to do a lot of other things. And the other one I want to see if I can open up here is, let's see here, Microsoft Viva. Viva Engage. I don't know if still there's a page, but we use this, at least I use this for one class. I was exploring how we can better use Viva Engage. Viva is like a social media thing almost, but just for the company here. In other words, for the organization, you can use Viva to post things, to communicate, to assign. There's a To-Do, also Microsoft To-Do that we use, Microsoft Planner. You can plan ahead of doing things. You can assign the Microsoft Planner to students as well, because, for example, let's say you have 5 students. You want students to do certain assignments on certain days. You can assign each student when to do what to do by the Microsoft Planner. And also, maybe I'll show the calendar as well. So anyways, the Viva, okay. So it's asking me to log in. Now this is going to be a nightmare. Hopefully I have a page that I've created here. Okay, nope, it's not working. So let me go back to Teams, and I'm going to show you calendar. Now, you may not use this a whole lot, but this is going to be so very helpful. If you're like me, for example, you could create your classes right here. For example, let's just say on maybe next week, Monday, I have a class at 10 o'clock. So I can create a class right here, NT, just for sake of creating it. So I can create a class on Monday and just save it, for example. That's going to show up right there. See, there's New Testament theology on Monday, but of course you can create classes and pre-assign them on certain dates. And all you do is go there and it's going to show you a join button. Go click on the join. It'll take you to the Teams app where you can join your class. So this calendar is so very helpful. You can use this for a lot of things. Of course, this is also integrated with your Outlook. In other words, the Outlook calendar and this calendar is the same based on your account because your account is linked. What you see here is what you're going to see on your Outlook, and what you see on Outlook is what you're going to see here. But of course, there's an option where you can share that in your Teams. If you create a calendar event, you have an option if you want to share that in the Teams app, and you can share if you want. But all of them are going to show up here, and so this Teams is like a hub. You can have everything in one place. Again, that's very, very beautiful. So maybe there is Viva Engage here. Okay, that's good. So for example, this is within Teams. This is actually different software, but it is pulled into Teams because you can add apps within Teams. So you can pull Microsoft tools from everywhere into one Teams app. And that's where the discussion, I use this as a discussion, but this is like a social media thing. You can ask a discussion question, a praise, a poll, do a lot of things. You can share files, you can create events, and all kinds of stuff right there. I don't know yet if you can do a live stream on this thing because I haven't tried. But this is like a social media page you can use for classes or for all companies. You see, all company meaning this is going to be a hub for a Eucon entire organization where you can post things and go and answer or take polls and things of the sort. So you can use this for all kinds of stuff. So it's very, very helpful. There's another one called Microsoft Stream. I don't know if it's not on here, but Stream is like massive YouTube thing where all of your videos stay in the stream. If you have Stream for your account, of course, then your videos are going to be on your stream, and you can share those videos to anyone you want, but you have to give permissions. As far as Microsoft Streams is concerned, it also would transcribe your video. After some time, you'll have text. Maybe after 10-15 minutes, it'll provide the text. So those of them who wants to read the text of your video, they can read the text and so on and so forth. There's many other things in Microsoft Stream where you can create questions and quizzes internally within the video. But all this is going to be really, really helpful. So these are the tools that we use. If you're interested in getting into Microsoft products and trying them for one of your classes, please do. I think it'll be really, really helpful. So, any questions for me?
Will you show how to use AI?
AI is a combination of many tools. It is basically included in all this. It's written within these programs. So sometimes, you can use ChatGPT, for example, as a web page. That's one of the things. Thank you for asking. ChatGPT is also known as OpenAI. The OpenAI is where you can go in. It's free to some extent, so you can go in and ask OpenAI to. Maybe I'll show you how to do. Paper on this topic, and guess what it'll do? It'll write a paper for you in less than 1 minute. I don't know if you can do counter test, but that's, I've noticed some people use that, AI use. You can type AI, it will create syllabus and create your notes. It would write you anything. I mean, you can use that for writing any post. If you want, just have to give it the command, I want you to write a 500-page post on this topic. You'll write it down. But of course, you have to go through the content. It's good. There's going to be some help. It's going to give you a push to begin on your project. But then you always have to go and see that it is providing the right content. If you're writing a scriptural paper, for example, you can't just tell AI, AI is smart to some extent. If you say, I want you to summarize the book of Isaiah, it's going to summarize the book of Isaiah for you. But you have to know book of Isaiah to see if this thing is telling you the right thing or not. Right? So there's that good and the bad with that, because it can do a lot of things. But again, it's probably OpenAI.com is probably what the website is. But you can go there and test that AI. It's going to be restricting after some time, because if you do certain amounts, it's going to tell you upgrade $20 per month. But I think you can do pretty much a lot of stuff during a day. It shouldn't just get tired. If you keep asking, it's going to say upgrade for $20 a month. So now this OpenAI 4, basically that's very, very powerful, very powerful. It can write whatever for you. You can even tell the thing to create a PowerPoint presentation based on the outline. It'll create a presentation. Or you can say, give me an outline, some outline of so-and-so topic. A 10-point outline. You can be specific. Give me a 10-point outline on this topic. It'll give you exactly 10-point outline with subpoints as well. Again, that is going to be good for a beginning, as a beginning step. But then you have to go in and look at the details and see what it's saying, because it's again written by codes, so it's not all that perfect. You have to make sure that what it's producing is accurate, and you can use that. So that's why, if you implement AI in writing your curriculum, in syllabus, in class notes or whatnot, you can probably even write a book with AI. You can just tell the thing, I want a 100-page book on this topic. That thing is going to write you a wonderful book. But you have to go through and maybe later on do certain modifications always, but you can do a lot of stuff. It's free, so the paid version is always better, but it's $20 per month. So that's how we can use AI in school, because we saw pictures, but AI, the artificial intelligence with the skull and robotic stuff, all that is written. And of course, some of you in the medical field, already some robots are doing surgeries at some point, right? All that is trained by AI, artificial intelligence. I don't want a robot to do a surgery on me. Okay, any questions for me before we close? So I would suggest and encourage you to please explore Microsoft products, because of course, you can ask us. We're using that in our program already, and the MAT program. So I believe it's really, really helpful. It's really handy. It's really, they created it well. They prepared, they programmed it well. So yeah, any questions? Yes?
Can you provide us some cons of using AI, pros and cons? But earlier you mentioned the pros, and now maybe give us some cons.
Obviously it's going to replace jobs. If you teachers not careful, I don't know if that's going to happen here, just saying it, okay? It's possible anywhere. Teachers can be replaced by AI. If I can reduce cost by using AI, why do I need you? Besides being Christian and being compassionate, if I remove those two, goodbye, I can say. But that's happening. I'm speaking reality here. So there are things where AI can replace teachers and staff as well, because you can automate just about anything these days. For example, I use a program for to set certain times to send emails, and that is automated program. You can tell that program, give sequence of orders to send certain emails a certain time. Of course, you have to write, but then you have to assign it a certain way. It will send it automatically. You don't have to do anything at all. So there is Power Automate with this Microsoft as well that would actually teach, that will actually provide you a way to do all this. So of course, one of the bad sides of AI is if you're not careful, it's going to overtake even, of course, human jobs. But that's going to be very, very sad. But I see videos and read news that it's possible someday that might happen. And the other thing, if you rely heavily on AI, your brain is going to become so weak to the point where keep in mind, theologically speaking, the Lord said, love the Lord with all your heart, and what is the next one?
With all your mind.
He gave the mind. Human mind is so very extremely complicated. And it is extremely powerful than AI, and that's why it created this AI. The thought processing, just think about all that, these software engineers, how they come up with these ideas to write certain programs. It's a provision of sovereign God. He gave us that mind, right? So mind is so very powerful. And that's why beautiful how God said you have to love me with your mind. Oh, we have to reason. There's nothing wrong in reasoning. If you use AI, your reasoning capabilities are going to go down pretty soon. Because, everything is at fingertips. You just give a command, it'll happen. And when are we going to learn? If you just keep giving commands. So there is that. And also, utter reliance upon AI, that's a dangerous thing, and taking up our jobs. And also because of that, it could even cause future health problems if you're going to use AI. And most dangerous thing is we can just get addicted to AI because it is doing our things for us. Maybe in the future we can give a command on the phone and say, bring my car here. Car comes in, take me to a place here. Of course, there are already cars that are going around without drivers. So all that is by intelligence. So, there's good stuff for AI. There's also very dangerous things. I won't be fully into AI at all, because that is, whenever I think about AI, I think about what happened in Genesis chapter 3. What happened with Adam and Eve in Genesis chapter 3? They wanted to get freedom from God. They want to be independent from God. What the independence caused to people? Fall, same thing happened, right? In Tower of Babel, independence. Same thing happened in 1 Samuel 8 when they want their own king, independence from the sovereign king. Independence. Even now, people are trying to find a way to be independent. You can never be independent. And that's what this whole creation is, of this AI whole stuff. Independence from a sovereign God is impossible. That's a dream that doesn't come true. The one last thing I want to say, God says, all this is made by human mind. But anyways, God says, my ways are not your ways, my thoughts are not your thoughts. It doesn't matter what humanity thinks that they achieved. It's still nothing compared to sovereign God. So we have to be careful, not being, as a Christian university, not being heavily reliant upon this artificial stuff. We have to keep this sharp. We have to be reliant upon God, because anything that comes between you and God is what? And God doesn't accept that at all, period. So, of course, on the other side, we can use wisely, and we should use, because technology is going to be helpful to some extent. Yes.
Doc, regarding also for the AI and also technology, since we are already on the end times, they say we are on the end times, does this indication of AI and technology states that can connect AI and technology to two of the end times? That's correct.
Yes, absolutely. I say this, and don't take me wrong, even though my name is Joel, I'm not a prophet. But I see in about 10 years, if not more, the landscape of this world is going to change. It's going to change. It's going to change. This world is running against who? Think about the what is the Webb telescope's name? I forgot the massive Webb telescope that's sent out to space. That's
Google Earth.
There's a telescope that was sent out.
Satellite.
Yeah, that's taking pictures now. Beautiful Milky Ways. Beautiful Milky Ways. Yes, as somebody made a comment, there is much more for humanity to learn. And I read the comment and I said, of course. These Milky Ways, these galaxies, these are so very particles to God. But this is going towards that, because the battle in the later days may not be with tanks and fighter jets and so forth. It could be between AI and AI. You know, I mean, this is even surprising. When the journalist went and asked the question to AI, he said it wants to remove humanity. Who gave you the processing capability to say I want to remove humanity? Very dangerous. And they tested AI with military fighter jet, and that thing pointed towards shooting the tower. You see, because that tells us, of course, human mind to begin with, of course, it's corrupt. And no matter how good you want to do, it's still corrupt. So we know, I mean, this is going to go to a bad end with this AI, and we can't fight with it. Humanity cannot fight with artificial intelligence because it's brought to that level. And that's why I put the slide up there, that the AI is God of this universe. If it's not yet, it's going to become God of this universe, because that will control everything. In fact, I know this is going live, but in fact, there are poles, I believe, in North or South Pole. At one day, I heard, that is again intelligence design, that would alter our thinking. To the point, again, I read this, I don't know how true it's going to be. To the point you might be sitting and thinking something, and all of a sudden you thought in your mind, I want to go and do so and so. That is not you who's thinking. There are frequencies and signals that goes out to communicate with human mind. It's very crazy out there, but of course we have to use so wise. That's why I said, in the presentation, we cannot leave human involvement, even though we use tools. AI can teach kids all kinds of bad stuff if we are not monitoring to turn it off. So yeah, this is going to go towards that end. Definitely, I think there's going to be a war of, already the war of cyber crime, cyber war. All that is code. So yeah. Okay. Anything else? Sure. So I'll give it over to Dr. Wei. If you have questions, please let me know later on.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Please give him a hand. Please. Thank you. We still have a few minutes. I want to just share very brief how to get AI and free. So let me share with you, and you can go home and try. Okay, but
this one.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh. I just need a few minutes of your time. Okay. Let's see. I turn on. Now, the AI program is very helpful. However, okay, are we connect? Okay. Excuse me, I need to get my thing. Can you pass me my mouse? Thank you. Okay, now, what is the benefit of AI? And I think that's what we need to understand. Now, AI is nothing but collecting of a lot of data. It is actually a huge. I mean, the AI has a mass of information that they can run. I mean, it's more than any human being can collect the information that they have. And so that's because of that, so they have efficient and productivity than human being, any individual human being. So that's the reason why today you go to China, they're going to have the facial recognition. But in the past, if you want the human recognition of a human face, that's impossible. But now because of AI, they collect everybody's face and install it in the computer, and then so when you show up, immediately they can catch you. So that's the concept. So it's more efficient than human being. It's more productive than human being. That's the reason why we have those benefits. And then it's enhanced decision making. Now, if you only have so little information and data in your brain, how can you make the right decision? Very difficult. But if you have a huge data, all kinds of different cases, all kinds of different data and information, and then soon, once you process this information, they will give you, thousands of different possibility of decision, and then you can make a decision. Or the AI, you can instruct the AI to make the best decision for you. Look at the GPS, right? That's also part of AI, and you just install in where you want to go. Then immediately process what's the best way and best route, and that's give you a lot of advantage to make decision, and AI can do that for you. And so you said, I want 10 possibility solution, then they'll give you 10. And then you say, select the best decision. Then they will give, AI will give you the best decision they think. Now, so that's an advantage. But the disadvantage is that if the data is not correct, then they may give you the wrong decision. And sometimes you have to understand this AI data collection can be manipulated. And that's a danger. And that's the reason why in the future there's a possibility that the robot or AI can create all kinds of problems and then control the whole world. And they're thinking that they will, the robot, the AI control the whole world and then trying to kill all the humanity. And that's a possibility, so that's a danger. And the benefit is personalization. It will, when you is stored in a lot of your personal experience, and then you ask AI, now, what is this happening that I would like? And the AI, because your experience is installed in the AI, then the AI will actually select what the things you like. So that's more personalization. So, for example, that you have a certain kind of a restaurant you want to go, but you don't really want to make a decision. You just install the AI. What is best for me to try? And then immediately AI will tell you what is the things you like. And that's more personal. And so from this can apply in care, healthcare, marketing. And don't you understand when you check your cell phone, AI is working, right? It will send you whatever you like. The reason why they will send you the advertisement is because you keep on clicking on particular items, okay? So they will keep on sending to you, and that's the reason why there's more personalization. And then healthcare advancement. Again, what kind of disease you have, the AI will detect, and they will send you different kind of healthcare and arrangement, advancements, and all those kind of things. Quickly, in innovations and research, AI definitely is faster than your own personal research. When I do my dissertation, what happened? I need to go to the library and check what every kind of the books and then relate to this topic, and I need to read all of them. But if you have an AI, you don't have to go to the library. You just say, okay, that means all the information about this topic, and they'll give you all. Now, that is the power of the AI. So you can do research much easier. I remember Mrs. Ray and I doing my dissertation where we used the electronic typewriter, and then we type until it actually too hard. And so we went out and put into the snow and to cool down. But now today, I mean, you have a computer, you really don't need to cool down the typewriter. So, so you know that this is all kind of things change, research, and it's a pain. You go to the library to pull out all the books, and so when I write dissertation, my whole table is books. But now today, you just want device and computer or even cell phone. You can do all your research. So that's an advantage. And then safety and precision. Now again, if you use AI properly, it will give you a lot of safety. For example, your house. I mean, you go in and then make sure that only your family can come in. Everybody who want to come in, they are going to, I mean, have a certain kind of a warning, things like that. So that's the AI. Now I still have a few minutes. I want you to, if you have all those, I mean, connection to the internet, what we can do is go into the website, and I will show you a little bit. I mean, just I'm not expert, okay? I'm just a beginning learner. What's happening? Can we show the screen?
Yes, it is.
Where's the screen?
Maybe dragging or...
Oh yeah, so like your projector functions as another monitor. You got to take it. You can drag it to the right.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, we still need a young generation. Okay, now I have.
You have to look up there.
Oh, I need to look up there. Okay, thank you. Now, look, you go to the search, find ChatGPT. Then you can have ChatGPT here. So you click on ChatGPT, open AI, then it will show you something like this. Get answer and find inspiration. Now listen, this is very easy. This is a free. And what you need to do is just click on it, and then it will go here and to ask you, then you start now. Once you click start, then it will go somewhere like here. I already used that, and so I said, write a poem to praise Trump. And it gave me this something like in a tower built of dream, of grand, I mean, because Trump always built tower, Trump tower. So give me a point. And then if I said, write a point of 50 words of praise 45th President Trump, then 50 words. Okay? Now I said, make it Shakespearean style. And then it's a Shakespearean style. Okay? So, I mean, you can tell him whatever you want. It will give you an answer. And that's a very powerful. And people, this is a good tool as long as you use rightfully, okay, wisely. Now then, I say translate it into Chinese. Okay, I type, you can type here, translate it into Chinese, perfect Chinese, and it give me good Chinese, perfect Chinese. And then I say, well, translate this one perfect Chinese, because this is a Shakespearean style. Okay, so I said I want the normal English style, and it give me different kinds of translation. You see what happened? And then I said, translate it into the old Chinese. It translated with me old Chinese. And then I said, I want Russian. There it's Russian. I don't know what's happening though. Yeah. And then Spanish. And Mrs. Lehman, this is Spanish.
Is it right?
Okay. And I said, translate to Japanese. It translated to Japanese. And translate to English for children of 5 years old. It goes to 5 years old. Now, this is a very powerful tool. Don't miss it. But the problem is, sometimes they're going to say, well, hey, this is too dangerous. As educators, how do I know that whether my students use that or not? Well, hey, let me introduce you another program. This program called Curbot, right? Curbot. Now, again, you just go find the Curbot and then click here, and it will go to something like that, free AI detected. So you have paragraphs here. So if you click your article and then ask it to paraphrase for you, then it will paraphrase for you. Now, once the AI article been paraphrased, then it will reduce the AI style. Very, very, very interesting. And then how do I know? And then this is the second one is grammar check, and then the third one is AI detector. What does that mean? That means if I go to here, and then I will check whether this article is for AI. Then I only need to click here. It will tell me how many percentage. Now you have to have at least 80 words for the machine, for the AI to detect whether that's the AI or not, because 50 words too little. So let's see whether there's a AI detective here. Now here is a paraphrase. And if I go back here and to click to use this AI, and then I go back here to check whether this is a AI program. Okay. Click. Da la la la. 100% AI writing. So you do have another program to detect whether that's an AI or not. So when your students, write something, don't believe that's their handwriting. Just try whether that's the AI. Now, remember I mentioned to you, if you paraphrase, the situation will be different. So let's copy this one and try to check whether this is remember this is 100% AI? Okay? So let's first of all, let's paraphrase this one. I think this is okay. Now let's paraphrase a little bit more. Okay, now let's paraphrase this one. Now, once you paraphrase, you can copy and paste to see whether this is a. Oh my. Well, anyway, we don't have much time, but once you paraphrase and then you go to check with the AI, it will tell you that it will reduce to 60% of AI. Okay, paraphrase, once you paraphrase, then it's not going to be 100% AI anymore. So now, remember this program also have fragilizing. Now you can use this program to see whether whether your students fragilize. Okay, if they copy immediately, you paste and copy and paste, then you can check whether they actually fragilize. Very powerful tool, and it's very useful. So I urge you, you can download free, and it will really help you to teach your students. Now again, this is a lot of dangers, but I don't think in our educational setting that will cause all kinds of dangers. Then I don't think those AI is going to control us in just next couple semester. So we can still use. But Dr. Madasso is right. If you keep on using this, don't use your brain, you're going to be dumb for soon. Use your brain. And try to still stimulate your brain, and then trying to be more creative. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. So let's have a word of prayer, then we'll go to lunch, have a fellowship. So let's pray. Father, we are so grateful for this time and this morning. We thank you for all the teaching, and thank you for Dr. Madasso to share. And also thank you, Father, for giving us this wonderful time that we can have a learning together, learning experience together. Thank you to give us a good time, and continue to bless us and be with us. Use us mightily for thy glory. And bless the food and bless the fellowship. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, well, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Oh, by the way, don't forget to write the survey. Okay.
Okay, so we need to write down the survey, please. And then without giving the survey, we have prepared some.
Oh, we have a gift.
We have a gift. So, okay. And then after the gift, we will ask everyone to please come in front, because we will have a group picture taking. So that at least we will be done. So, okay. Can you please fill up your, what do you call this one, survey form?
If you don't fill out survey form, you won't have a gift.
Okay, Sister Jen, if they need some pen, I have some pen over here. Okay, and then you can give it to Sister Jenny, please. And then, yeah, we will prepare for you for the gift.
Yeah, let's prepare the gift. Okay, everybody has a gift, and the gift is very nice.
Oh, that's where they are.
Everybody can take their gift, but let me show you what this gift is about. You're going to give one gift, and this gift is with both side logo.
Good deal.
Good deal. This is for you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we will give you a gift and to your table, and we're going to, while you prepare the survey form. So, okay.